YouTubers, Aldo straight back with a brand new video for you here. First off, great to see you all. Welcome back to part 2 of my Midcard replica belt collection. Now, if you guys have watched part 1, which was my TV championships, and you have clicked on this to see my next set of replicas, then fantastic. Thank you so very much. When I was going through my mid-card titles, I was trying to think, right, what did I throw out next? As many people that have watched this channel know that I have US championships, and I have Intercontinental championships, and I have other mid-card titles. And I was trying to think, what else can I put out there? Then I thought to myself, well, why don't I do a little mixture one? And that being European Championships. Now, as we know, there has not been many European Championships from the WWF WWE. There has been one that was created in 1997, and unfortunately it was retired full-time in 2002. And then the next one that I have came about in 2016, and it unfortunately did not last very long. It was unfortunately retired and combined with the regular NXT Championship. Now, people will know what I'm talking about as soon as I've said all this, okay? So I am going for my European Championships. So the European Championships that I have are the WWF Attitude Era European Championship and the UK Championship version 1, or as what would be later known as the NXT UK Championship. So if I bring this first one out just now, the European WWF Attitude Era European Championship. Now, this championship to a lot of people in the UK is very near and dear to their hearts. Like I say, this was brought up, the actual title, the physical championship itself was introduced in February of 1997, where the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, actually won the inaugural championship in a match against his brother-in-law Owen Hart, and that was classed as the block logo. That was the block logo one. And then I want to say maybe just towards the end of 1999 that they decided to put the Attitude Era scratch logo on the belt. And in all honesty, I like that upgrade. It is very, very cool, very, very nice, and this championship has got a lot of lineage to it, in a manner of speaking, because as we know, it came on in 1997. It was won by the likes of Davey Boy Smith, as I said, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, through sketchy booking. That is how they got that. Owen Hart, going from Owen Hart back to Triple H, then historically by D'Lo Brown, Shawn Waterman, aka X-Pac, Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, respectively, different times obviously. Eddie Guerrero. It was famously retired in 2002 when Jeff Hardy and Rob Van Dam had a unification match where this unfortunately was retired, and it joined the Hardcore and Intercontinental Championship respectively, because in 2002, at the time, the WWF WWE decided they had too many male belts on the roster and they were combining them all. How times have changed, because we know the WWF WWE have got a lot of championships now. In fact, would turn around and say they've actually got too many. But anyway, yeah, this has been, in my opinion, this is a very underrated championship for what it was at the time, simply because it was meant to be defended in Europe whenever they were doing European tours, but then it somehow turned into the WWFW's equivalent of the TV Championship, as it were. Those who watch WCW will probably know what I mean by that. That the WCW had the World TV Championship, and that was second to the US Championship, and the TV Championship was just solely defended on TV as much as possible. And this one, originally, like I say, was meant to be only when they were doing European tours, but then it turned into it was getting defended on TV on a semi-regular basis. And I think for copyright reasons, they couldn't use TV Championship, because I think WCW had that at the time. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sure Mr. Hazard F5 will put in a comment and let me know if I'm wrong or not, which is always a great help to me if I do get certain things wrong. Because let's be honest, I'm at that age where there is a lot of information and sometimes I do forget things. Even though my mastermind trivia questions are WrestleMania main events, but sometimes I do struggle. Yeah, so it is a shame that this was retired. A lot of people have been asking for it to come back. They were asking for it to come back just actually by the time the next replica that I'm going to put out there, put on here, sorry, was getting established. So if I put this down, like I say, in 2016, Triple H and his NXT team decided to give something back to the UK again. And what they did was they held a tournament, and I'm going to say William Regal had a big part to play in this, because of all places, they had the inaugural tournament in Blackpool, and they introduced the UK Championship. Now, this is absolutely one of the most beautiful looking championships that the WWF WWE ever produced. Now, there is two versions of this. There is obviously this original V1, which just has the WWE Network logo smacked in the middle of the shield. But then, as time went on, NXT UK got a little bit bigger, and they turned this into a full-time NXT UK Championship, where this logo was swapped out and the regular NXT logo at the time was smacked on it. And in all honesty, when you look at both versions, both of them are actually quite cool for what they were at the time. This, of course, was won famously by Tyler Brent, and it had an historical run with Walter, aka Gunther, who is now actually the current WWE World Heavyweight Champion on Raw. So it's amazing the lineage on this, even though it was around, excuse me, for a very short time. It helped elevate one of those superstars to the point where they are now the #2 guy in WWE. And yeah, what can I say about it other than it is absolutely stunning. Nice gold tip at the end there. And yes, I did flip the side plates around to have, so it looked like my logo. But the strap on this is absolutely beautiful as well. It is the sort of standard one, the standard strap that was around back then, but at the same time it is very, very nice too. But if I hold this closer up, you can see the zirconias in it look very nice. Obviously when I get further into the review you'll see a little bit more, but even though this is very similar to the current championship, WWE World get my words mixed up there, the WWE Championship, it has its own identity as well, with obviously having the UK coat of arms on it, but it is very, very cool. And yeah, not too heavy, not too light, but in the middle, but it is a very, very beautiful belt. So what happened to this? Well, and as we know, because of the pandemic, NXT UK sort of had a bad spell. The WWE didn't forget about it, but kind of put it on hiatus for a little while because of obviously what was happening in the pandemic, and the UK took it to the next level a lot of the times, so of what people could do. And Walter, aka Gunther, at the time was the current champion, and he don't get me wrong, he carried that very, very well. Obviously when he got to the stateside and transitioned to the main roster full time, the inaugural champion Tyler Bent, sorry, I can't get his name out, I do apologise, eventually won this back. But when they were going through the reshuffle of NXT, and NXT UK unfortunately was getting closed down, they decided to unify this with the current NXT Championship, who was Braun Breaker, aka Braun Steiner. And it is a shame that that happened, because I feel that this could have been on parallel with the North American Championship, that it could have been the third championship, aka a TV belt for NXT, if they chose to do that, but didn't. So this unfortunately did retire in 2022, and there has been slight talks about NXT Europe getting picked up again. I mean, they keep saying it until they're blue in the face. When it does eventually happen, I don't see it happening personally. I don't see it happening at all. I think NXT Australia will probably happen a lot quicker before NXT Europe. If NXT Europe does eventually come around, maybe they'll bring this back, so it'd be a UK staple, sorry, I should say. But who knows? Anyway, let's get into what we're here to chat about. And before I ramble on again, what are we here to talk about? We're here to talk about more replicas. Okay guys, so here is the in-depth review on the WWF Attitude Era European Championship replica. And for its age, this was produced in 2001, and even though a few smudges here and there, it's still looking good. It's still held the test of time. The strap has as well, which I've been very surprised of. But yeah, it's a beautiful looking belt, and I'm very, very happy to have this in my collection. Never going to part with this, simply because of it being from the Attitude Era. Now let's get into it. So you have a WWF Attitude Era scratch logo here in white, with the red swoosh. Now, for some reason, a bit of the white has came out. Now, this could have been a misprint, or just forgot to do it. I want to say it's that. And then you have a black background. I could not get that out, in a sort of arch shape here. Now this is very nice, but it has had quite a few designs over the years, because the original one, obviously being the block logo, had red behind it. And then as time went on, it went from black, and then to the E, it had black. And most recently, it went back to red again when they done an updated version of it. And yeah, it's a lot more filled in, obviously, in the updated versions. And I could put some white paint on that just to make it even. If anybody wants to help me out with that, please, by all means, tell me how to do it properly, because I don't want to mess it up. Now, below that, you have World Wrestling Federation, done in white, bold writing, very, very nice. Obviously, as time went on, this would get turned into entertainment. And then you have European Champion border, done with gold writing and a red background. And the ribbon looks nice. Obviously, it is a little bit scraped battle damage from age, but if this was made today, obviously the lettering would pop out a little bit more. It would probably have a little bit more of that 3D effect. And then in the middle, you have Europe, the Europe side of the globe, and here's the UK and Ireland. So we are represented here. As time went on the E versions, this sort of got smudged together. They've not really done us justice over the years when it comes to this globe, I have to say. Then either side of that, you have two grapplers. From the looks of it, it's like they're hugging, but they're not. It's two totally different grapplers, sets of grapplers overall. This seems to be kind of like in a headlock, and this one set of grapplers seems to be in a bear hug, which very, very strange, having two different sets of grapplers on either side of the globe, where if you go into the side plates, they're the same. So, but anyway, that's by the by. And then surrounding the actual main part of the main plate itself is you have a little reef effect going all the way up here on either side of the logo. And down here you have little sunblast effects in an arch. My camera wants to focus. With a royal spade. And then you have two little flowers on either side of these flags. Obviously, the flags of Germany and Sweden, I believe. And then you have Italy over here as well. And please forgive me if I've missed out the countries. I know the flags, I just can't remember their names just now. But Europe is represented on here, by all means. But for some reason, I don't think the creators of this really knew that many European countries, because there's some flags in here that are done more than once, i.e. there is two Italy flags, where I'm assuming one of them was meant to be Ireland. Now, there is no French flag, which I'm assuming also one of them was meant to be France. There is two Germans. There is a Spain, but it's and only one UK. I mean, at least they got the UK right, but yeah, it's very lazy, very, very lazy. And I think this has been corrected. I will put up a recent photo of it in editing, so if it has been updated, I'll put up a photo on top of this just so you can see the updated version of it a little bit more. But yeah, it's a shame, and I'm sorry I don't remember all the flags names. I do apologize. Geography is not my strong suit, and I only know a few country flags, so I do apologize. But you have the flowers on either side of the main plate, and yeah, despite the multiple Italy flags and 2 German flags, it looks very, very nice, I have to say. And then if I go into the side plates, you have 2 grapplers in a bear hug, similar to the main plate. And you have a sunblast flower effect behind them. And then you have the WWF Attitude Era logo, scratch logo, with a black background with the little reef design at the top. And these are done in a rectangle form of a shield. They're actually in a frame shield, so each one is like it's in its own little frame, which is quite nice. And then on this side plate, you have the scratched WWF Attitude Era logo with a blue globe in the background, World Wrestling Federation, and then you sort of have a shield, and then the sunblast effect behind that, and then you have a flower design similar to the main plate in this frame, and it looks very nice, I have to say. Obviously, like I say, if this was done now, it would be a lot more bolder, a lot more 3D effect. And then on the other side, exactly the same. You have the Attitude Era scratch logo, black background, 2 grapplers and a bear hug, the sunblast effect behind them, and it's in this rectangle frame, which is quite nice, apart from a few scratches just due to wear and tear over time. Then the final one, similar to the other side, scratch logo with a blue globe in the background, World Wrestling Federation, and then you have the shield sunblast effect with a flower at this top, and then the little frame, which is very nice. And I have to say, before I go any further, there was 2 versions of this as well, I believe, where obviously you have the 5 plates, but then there was a version that came out that had a 6 plate, and over time they actually released 6 plates. You could buy 6 plates on WWE Shop at the time, where you could buy it to put into this. And yeah, I've never gotten around to getting one, to be perfectly honest. I don't feel it really needed it, in my own opinion. The only thing that I am disappointed in is that it didn't come with a gold tip. I feel a tip would have maybe set off a little bit more, maybe give it a little bit more, a little bit more than what I was expecting it. But other than that, I have to say, again, for it being a belt from 2001, it is standing the test of time. Now, if we go into the strap, it's a standard strap for then, no aero ripple effect in the snap box, and unfortunately no special design in the rest of the strap, no shell shape on there, or even the WWF Attitude Era logo, which would have been WWF Champion, which would go all through this. Unfortunately, none of that. It is just a basic strap. So if you run into Matt Hardy, if you run into Jeff Hardy, if you run into RVD, I dare say, or D'Lo Brown or Shawn Morley, I dare say you could get them to sign this, and even William Regal if he wants, you know. So if I flip this over, you'll see 2001 WWF product, WWF Attitude Era flashy, still intact, WWF.com. Now, when I say there was two versions of this, so, excuse me, there was a version that had a red strap back in, and there was a version that was a green strap back in. Unfortunately for me, I've got the green. I'm not a huge fan of green. I think a lot of people that watch this channel know that. I mean, it looks okay for what it was at the time. But wow, look at the number this was that they produced. I'm assuming that's the amount that they produced, if that is so. Over 5,000. Wow. Okay. But yeah, the strap, like I say, apart from a little bit wear and... I say a little bit wear and tear, but it's actually not that wear and tear, to be fair. And, I mean, yeah, it's very flat. The strap itself and the plates are very flat. But at the same time, I have looked after this. You know, it's... I'm quite impressed with myself of how much it has stood the test of time. Absolutely beautiful. Okay guys, so here is the in-depth review of the UK Championship, or as what became known as the NXT UK Championship version 1. This replica is absolutely stunning from everything in the whole belt. From the main plate, side plates, strap, the tip is alright. They sort of let us down with that, but it is absolutely beautiful. I didn't get this on, I don't know if I said this in the first review that I did of this, but I didn't get this off a WWE shop. I actually got this off eBay second hand, and the person that had it must have gotten the main plate done, because the zirconias in it are very, very shiny. Very, very shiny. They've been replaced. You can tell they've been replaced because they spark a lot more. And to get a belt like that off eBay was very surprising. And they look absolutely incredible on the belt. Especially on a nice day when you could hold them up against the sun and they really sparkle. So very, very lucky to have a version like this. So let's get into it. You first off have the network logo of the WWE smack in the middle of this beautiful crimson red shield, and the logo has that 3D effect, really pops out. It looks incredible. It does look incredible. It looks really incredible. The in-depth of the logo, being a WWF guy, being an Attitude Era guy, I would love to have seen an F on this, but it's not. But it looks incredible. It looks really incredible on the crimson red shield. And what they did with this, obviously a lot of people will know this, they used the United Kingdom coat of arms, which would be the lion representing England. It is a unicorn, okay? It is meant to be the unicorn to represent Scotland, but for some reason they forgot to put the horn on the unicorn. So, I mean, even in version 2, they didn't do that either, which is kind of a shame. So you've only got part of the UK coat of arms, but the lion has some great detailing on it. Very, very cool. You can make out its eyes and its tongue. Its mane looks incredible. I mean, it really does actually. As far as lions go for being on replica belts, this is really nice. Its claws are so detailed. Even the scroll is very detailed too. And you have the horse/unicorn. Very detailed on that too, with a flaming tail, flaming head, its beard, its eyes. So very nice. Of course, you have the Tower of London with the royal crown at the top here. Nice little reef effect going around that. Then you have the United Kingdom banner done in this lovely gold, black writing, and then you have champion at the bottom, a similar scroll border along there with champion in the same detailing. And as I said, with the women's one in my women's division collection, they have sort of like these corners in amongst the belt as well in the main plate. So you have one here, here, down here, 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 and here. It just seems kind of random having them there. I know they're meant to represent the coat of arms, but at the same time, feels these look okay. But yeah, it's like, and they do go with the belt as well, I have to say. But it's kind of like it's just filler, and maybe it could have done with a little bit of red on it as well instead of just being gold. But then you have a massive black background in amongst all this, and I feel maybe it could have been blue to represent the more so of the United Kingdom, you know. And even on the version 2, it could, and even on the women's, it could have been a blue background. I feel that would have really made it pop more. Then below the champion banner, you have a red ruby, and then you have these updated zirconias going all the way around, holding the main plate. Of course, very similar to the main championship, which of course is what they like to do back then, make every belt look very similar. And then you just have the standard regular sidebars. Don't see myself upgrading these. I like them how they are. And then you have the side plates. You have obviously the standard side plate with the WWE Network logo flipped around for my initials, and with a red globe. Now with a red globe, I feel this should have been blue, or blue with maybe red here, and or maybe a bit white in there, you know, just to represent the UK colours. Then you, of course, you have a UK Royal Regal sidebar with red arrows here, and nice little floral reef effect going around there. And then on the other side, similar design to the other side, where you have the standard network logo flipped upside down with a red globe in the background. Yeah, definitely. I feel a little bit of blue in here, even though red means royal and very regal. I feel that a little bit blue in here would have made it look nicer. In my opinion, would have definitely made it look nicer. Then you have the coat of arms arrows again, all the way around as well, with the floral reef effect. And yeah, they look good, especially in the light. They look really good. And then onto the strap, you have a standard gold tip, and then in the strap itself, there's a lot going on, a hell of a lot going on actually. You have the arrow snaps, the arrow design bubble effect in the snap box, and then standard for the time, you have the WWE Network logo smacked in the middle, stamped there with this nice little etching pattern. And then of course on top of that you have a little diamond pillars, and then you have the standard shell shape banner going all the way through the main strap. Follows into the main plate, comes all the way back, and then on here you have, similar to the other side, just a little bit smaller, where it's the WWE Network logo, this etching design, and then the diamond pillars, and then the arrow snapping and little reef flowers. And yeah, this looks really, really nice. It's a lot going on, but at the same time it suits the design of the belt. I've carefully flipped this over. This is from 2017, standard, flashy to say it's authentic. 2017, this will be 10 years old in 2 years time, and the strap is in very, very good nick. A little bit battle damaged at the bottom, but that's okay. But yeah, I'm quite glad to have this. It's a beautiful, beautiful looking strap. Beautiful looking strap, beautiful looking belt. Now if I pop these guys down for 2 seconds. And here is both the UK and the European Championship side by side. So I think this is the first time that I've done this on this channel, is put both of these together. You look at it from one point of view, this became this in a manner of speaking, or if you look at it from another perspective, if NXT UK was still going, this could have been the main belt and could have been redubbed the NXT Europe Championship. This could have been its secondary championship, could have been the European Intercontinental or the European TV Championship. Who knows what could have been. But yeah, these actually look really nice together. Obviously you can tell the difference in the logos, but yeah, these are absolutely great to have. I'm really happy that I have these in my collection, and yeah, beautiful, beautiful looking belts. So guys, thank you so very much for watching part 2 of my Midcard collection. In case anybody thinks that I've actually forgotten one while I was making this video, I haven't, because as you guys know, I have recently done the women's collection, the women's division collection in my Replica collection, and in that was the NXT UK Women's Championship. So I have these two, and I felt that I didn't really need to put the women's one in this. This is solely for the men's championship. So yeah, having the European and the UK V1 fit this, and these are two of, in my opinion, two of the most beautiful looking championships that the WWF WWE have ever produced. They have re-released this a couple of times. They've released it in E version, in fact 2 E versions. They've released this with an F version, and then they've released 2 E versions. The last E version that they've done, which was quite recently, I think it was about a year or so ago, if not 2 years ago, where they actually made everything pop out a lot more. Everything was a lot more bolder, a lot more 3D, and unfortunately I didn't get my hands on looking at one of them, but from what I understand, the globe is a lot more better on that version, but I don't see myself ever getting that because I feel if I've got the Attitude Era one, then I don't really need the E one. I did have an E1 when several years ago when I first bought it. When it first came around, but then I gave that away because I felt there was no need to have two of them. So I'm quite happy with this one. Now, as far as out of these two belts, which is my favourite, even though this championship is very near and dear to my heart because of it obviously being from the Attitude Era, the UK V1 is my favourite out of the two of them, simply because of the detailing on the UK coat of arms. But pop it in the comments and let me know out of this collection which was your favourite. Pop it in the comments as well which UK Championship or European Championship that the WWF have ever produced, which is your favourites. There is obviously the UK NXT Women's Championship. There is the NXT UK Tag Team Championships. They are absolutely beautiful. I need to try and get a hold of them again because I never got around to reviewing them. And yeah, this is an absolute stacked replica, and it is, I have to say, it's in my top 5 now as one of my favourite replicas that I have. Yeah, so thanks so very much for watching this, I should say. It's been a pleasure to make it for you guys, and keep an eye out for more Midcard replicas in this series. I'm currently working on the light heavyweight and cruiserweight. I feel they are, even though some would say they're in their own division on their own, but in my opinion I would still class them as mid-card. So I'm working on that video at the moment, and obviously I need to get out the US championships and the main workhorse one, which is the Intercontinental Championships. So keep an eye out for them down the road. And as what I've been saying in the past couple of videos, if you guys can like, share, subscribe, do all you need to do to get me out there, it would be very much appreciated. Thank you very much. I'm going to go now before I start rambling again. But as I always say, guys, dreams be the journey, and you take care of yourself. Bye.